So as you may know, if you've watched my channel or if you follow me on Instagram, I don't really go to a lot of thrift stores anymore because for me, my thrift stores aren't that great, and online sourcing for me has really been a blessing in so many ways. It kind of started with the pandemic and it really took off after that, and I really never went back. So I used to shop at the bins, I used to shop at my Goodwill retail, and I just don't do it anymore because I do so much better with purchasing boxes and purchasing pallets and online sourcing one by one or going to different websites. So for me, online sourcing really is the key. But I do go in to a regular thrift store from time to time, and I know many of you don't source like me. You still go into a regular thrift store, you like it, you enjoy it, that's your you time, you get your coffee and you go or whatever, or your thrift stores are just way better than mine. So what I'd like to do for those of you that are newer or for those of you that just maybe never came up with a strategy, I want to give you the high ASP thrift store strategy that I have used in the past, and that if I were going to thrift stores right now for my main source of inventory, I would do it this way. And so I'll kind of really just list off the sections of the thrift store that I would go to in what priority order, and then kind of explain my thinking. So this isn't a crazy video where I've got lots of really nitty-gritty strategies. This is going to be really basic, but if you don't have a thrift store strategy, you may want to adopt this, and I hope that you do. So let's go ahead and dive into the tips. Thank you to Vendue for sponsoring today's video. I have talked in the past about how much I love Vendue, but I wanted to give you a quick rundown of all the benefits I get by being a Vendue user. Vendue more than pays for itself with the added productivity I get from its growing list of tools. Obviously, we know that it is way faster to cross-post on multiple platforms with Vendue than doing it on your own manually. But the tools that save me the most time and effort are the bulk delist relist feature, the auto sales detection feature, which delists your items from all platforms when it sells on one, and the Vendue app because I can list and manage my business from literally anywhere. Use the link below to get 30% off your first paid month of Vendue. Okay, so I am not a big handbag or shoe seller, but I know that many people are. And so if I was, probably the two most important places I would go to first that I feel like would have the most value would be to go to handbags and then shoes. First, foremost, not getting, distracted by anything else in the thrift store. I would head straight to where they keep the handbags, whether it's the ones that are out or the ones that are maybe like locked behind glass doors of some kind. That's how my Goodwill does it. They have like the Kate Spade and the Michael Kors and things like that, all behind, and any designer behind locked glass doors. So I would go there first. I'm not a big shoe seller, but I would go to the shoes next if I was, because I do feel like many people that know shoes, which I don't, and that have the patience to clean shoes, which I don't have, can do really well with shoes. Shoes are good sellers. People are going on there. They're items of value. And so I would start with handbags and shoes hands down if I were you, because I don't do that. But now here's where we get into what I actually do. So the next place I would go after handbags and shoes is I would go to dresses. I really do love selling dresses. There may be a point in time where I only sell dresses. Really, with the thrifted items that I have, like the Zara and the Torrid, Lilly Pulitzer, Bowden, all the brands that I love to sell, I'm really only concentrating on dresses from those brands. I'm not looking for tops from those brands. I'm not even looking for pants from those brands. I'm really focused on dresses because I feel like it is a one garment, so people will pay a higher amount for it. It's just generally an item of more value than other types of items, let's say a tank top. And so dresses, I feel like, have such a wide range of brands that you could find at your thrift store that could have, I don't want to say mistakes, but like thrift stores, they'll mark up Ralph Lauren, or at least mine does, or Talbot's, but then they won't mark up a higher end brand because they may not know it and it may not be as well known. So I feel like there's more opportunity to kind of find some gold in dresses. Now at my thrift store, going through dresses could take my whole entire thrift store time budget. So I don't know about you. We can talk about that maybe at the end. Like if I could only have an hour, where would I go or something like that? So we'll do that at the end. But so I would do handbags, shoes, and then dresses for sure. Because I just feel like there's so much opportunity with dresses, and the ASP can be really great with dresses. So those are my top 3. The next one after that I go to is sweaters. Now, sweaters can be tricky because you might think, well, it's not the right time of year, so I'm going to skip sweaters. Or like with sweaters, you have to sweater shave sometimes, things. So you may not want to deal with sweaters as much. But for me, I find that that's where I find cashmere, and I can literally rub my hand down the line of the tops of the hangers sticking out from the racks, and I'll stop when I feel it, and I'll check and see if it's cashmere or not. I get fooled sometimes, but most of the time I can run my hand down and find a handful of cashmere items. Now, that doesn't mean that they're in good enough condition to buy or whatever, but for the most part, I'll pick up any brand of cashmere as long as it doesn't have a flaw. I'm not into flawed cashmere. I'm not dealing with that. So I can do that trick, whether I'm at a buy, sell, trade store or at like a Goodwill, and I can easily find the cashmere quickly without having to go through every single sweater. That's a skill that has come with time in my, elder years of reselling now. But, for you, if you don't have that yet and you need to go through the whole rack, I do think it's worth it to go through the rack, because you could find that cashmere, which is really what I'm looking for with sweaters. But then you could find the good brands of sweaters that have, the oversized, boxy, slouchy kind of sweater that you're looking for, or just, like a good J. Crew, chunky knit, oversized, camel color sweater, and like that would be something I would want. You may find some good cardigans. So I feel like sweaters is the next best one that I would go to, because there are those really good home runs that can be found. I can usually find them pretty time efficiently, and so you're going to find some good stuff there. So I would go handbags, shoes, dresses, sweaters. Then next I would go to jackets. Now, I don't love jackets because in mine, they're high up and low. So either I'm bending down, it hurts my back, or I'm high and it hurts my, so I can't really see. So it's not my favorite place to go. And so I do skip it sometimes, but jackets are where it's at as far as ASP, because you can sell a jacket for a lot more money than you can sell a skirt in most cases. And so for me, I'm looking for leather jackets, genuine leather. I'm looking for, like the good North Face type things. And, if anything else kind of strikes my fancy, sometimes I'll find a blazer where I feel like this is something I want to deal with. Most of the time I don't deal with blazers. I just would rather not. But leather jackets, and then like the good sports jackets, active jackets, those kinds of things, winter weather, that type of stuff would be what I'm looking for. You never know what gets mistakenly put in jackets too. I have found some cashmere items in with the jackets because it's a sweater, but so that can be good. So I feel like jackets is kind of a no-brainer when we're looking for high ASP items. And then I would follow that up with jeans. Now, some people, jeans, it's like their favorite thing to sell, and like that might be the first place that they go to because they're familiar with it. They love selling jeans. They know exactly what they're looking for. It's easy to kind of go through and find exactly what you're looking for. So I do think that jeans is a really good section, and I do like selling jeans, but I have not found in my thrift stores the kinds of jeans that I want to be selling. It's a lot of the nonsense. And so for me, I know that I'm not going to come away with much from having gone through the very large jean section that we have. So I kind of put jeans, a little bit farther down. You might say, I like jeans better. I do better with jeans and I get good jeans. So I'm going to swap jeans for sweaters. And so you could do that. So I would encourage you, as we're going through this video, to take this down, make a phone note or something. And this is based off of what I do and what I say for me and the thrift stores that I come in contact with. But for you, it might be a little bit different, and you can kind of swap slots with things and then make a really good list for you. And if you're someone that does get off track and distracted at thrift stores, going through in this way may help you speed up your trip and make it more efficient, find the most valuable items that you can in the little bit of time that you have if you're pressed for time, or just have a strategy in general. So next I would go to swim. And this may not be something that you're into, but I love selling pre-owned swim or new swim. I love selling plus size swimsuits, mostly one piece. Now, you could love to sell separates. You might also like selling regular size. For me, I'm going to go into a swim section looking for new with tags, of course. And for the most part, if it's new with tags, I would be more lenient on what I pick up. But I'm mostly looking for plus size, pre-owned, all the miracle suit that you can find, and then just plus size swimsuits. So that's what I really like to sell from that kind of section. And so I would just kind of scan, and kind of look for the items that look like they're plus size, and of course one piece. So my eye, if they're all mixed up, not separated, my eye's going to go to the longest things because a one piece would be longer than, just the top or just the bottom. And I'm going to look at those, and I'm going to keep my eyes scanned on the bottom area to identify the plus size, and then I'll pick that one and look and see what it is. And that's how I kind of go through that section. So for me, it can be very quick. Also, I'm in Florida, so there's swim all year round. It's plentiful, and so I can get to it. So for you, if you know that you don't get a lot of that often, or it's not very good, swap it out with a different category. The next area that I would go to is athletic wear. We do have that separated out, so I can easily go and find all the sports bras and all of the leggings. And that works pretty well. I have not been to that section in a while, I will add, because I'm just not as up lately. I've been kind of really dialed into the brands that I know and love, and I haven't really been looking for a lot of new things to add and test out. Like, I like tried and true stuff. I like replicating the same thing over and over again. So while I do my, bolo videos, it's good to know about things, but that doesn't mean I'm actively sourcing them. So for me, activewear hasn't really been something that's top of mind lately. But I know in the area that I live in, I can go through the activewear section and I should be able to come away with 2 or 3 Lululemon items. I don't know that they're going to be in sellable condition or something that I want to sell, but I know that I will find them because in my area, there's a lot of Lululemon wearing going on, and so I can easily find that. If that's not true for you and you find like all the Kohl's brand Guyam, and like tech gear, but if you find all of that, then you may not want to bother going to that section. But I would put athletic wear next because I do feel like that would be my next best bet. Following athletic wear would be bras and intimates, and in this section, the only thing I'm looking for is plus size bras. That's the only thing I'm looking for. I really don't do a lot of pajamas and things like that. I know some people have found some good things with that, but it's not really my favorite. So I would be looking for plus size bras, and that's about it. Sleepwear, you could go to that. Again, I put it here. I don't go to it, but that's what I would recommend someone go to next if they were going down the list. Now, I'll tell you at the end of this list, kind of where I stop as well. So bras and intimates, then sleepwear, then scrubs. If you have a separate section for scrubs, I do think it's worth it to go through. I have not sold scrubs in quite some time, but I remember I used to love selling scrubs. I used to love all the fun prints. Things would go really well early Poshmark days. Now I don't really know what the scrub market is like, but I do know like Grey's Anatomy used to sell really well. Maybe not the case anymore. Fig used to sell really well, or Figs, or whatever it's called, used to sell. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I haven't checked comps in quite some time. But whatever the hot brand of scrubs is, if you found it, that would make going to that section in this order worth it. So if you are a scrub seller and you know what the hot brand is, you may want to make sure that you quickly check into that section before you move on to some of the other things, because if you find the big hitter, that's going to make it really worthwhile. Next is pants. I really hate going through pants. It's just so much limited and so much loft and so much Ann Taylor and so much Talbots and so many things, DKNY, and if you sell those brands, great and good for you. For me, I just don't anymore. And then that's the brand name ones. Then you got all the White Stag and Coldwater Creek and Gloria Vanderbilt and Liz Claiborne, and just so much that is on my no-low list these days because it's very common and it doesn't go for a lot of money. In in relation to where I'm at right now with my reselling business. So for me, I'm trying to list things for $50 and I'm trying to sell them anywhere from 25 to 35. And so there might be some that you could get away with that on those kinds of brands, but most of the time not. And so I just don't find, based on my pants section, that it's fruitful for me to go through and do all that shuffling through and probably not come away with any pants of note. So for me, I feel like pants is a tough category in general to sell. I've never been good at it. I have sold many pants, but I feel like I've sold more jeans than pants. I've definitely sold more than any other category than pants, except for maybe skirts, because I don't like skirts either. And so pants is just hard because there's so much to a pant that I feel like is fit. And so I'm sure people sell pants all the time, but I've just never felt confident in my pants selling abilities that it was a good category for me. So I've just always kind of shied away from it when sourcing. If you rock at it, you know all the keywords, you know all the measurements, you sell pants all the time like it's your job, then yes, go to your pants section and maybe you bump that for sleepwear and scrubs. But for me, I'd rather go to scrubs than pants for sure. The next one I did put is skirts. Skirts, I don't love. I think that it depends on the style. It depends on there's so many things. And so there will be, and there has been times where I'll just run through the skirt section, look for anything that seems midi or maxi by what's hanging low on the rack, and hand pick that out and see okay, there's a low skirt. Okay, what's that? Okay, there's a low skirt. Okay, what's that? And I will just look at the midi maxi skirts because I feel like those could potentially be more valuable, or it's the right kind of brand, or that's kind of what the style was. But the only other thing I might look for in skirts is maybe a true genuine leather or faux leather skirt, because those can do well. And that would go the same for pants. Like if I really wanted to go through those sections, I would definitely be looking for leather or faux leather. But that's about it. That's about it for pants and skirts. They're not my favorite. Now, going down the list, I'm just going to go quick because I don't think I need to explain everything, is long sleeve tops, short sleeve tops, shorts, tank tops, and I would do it in that order because I feel like I have the better opportunity to find something of value in long sleeve tops, like maybe a silk long sleeve blouse or maybe a sweater that got mixed up in there by accident or something like that, than going through tank tops. Like tank tops is always the end for me because I just don't want to sell tank tops. Even if it's a high-end tank top, I still just don't want to deal with it. It's just not enough money. I mean, I guess if it was designer, perhaps, but I don't even really sell designer that much. I sell bread and butter things, but the most valuable things from the bread and butter brands. That's my go-to. So for me, there's just not enough value in tank tops for it to be worth it for me. And then I would put after this, again, this is based on me. For you, it might be different, but I would put hard goods or any other areas that your thrift store offers. Like if they have a boutique section, you might want to bump that up because that's going to have the better stuff. I don't have that at my Goodwill. So for me, that doesn't apply. But I don't really do a lot of hard goods selling. I'll swing through hard goods just to see if there's anything like I need for the house or something, but mostly I'm not selling that stuff. So hard goods for me is all the way down on the bottom. And for you, if you're a big seller of hard goods, you might put that at the very top before handbags and shoes. But for me, not so much. So where I typically get through is handbag, shoes, dresses, sweaters, jackets, jeans, swim. That's as far as I go. I really don't even get to the athletic wear, the bras, the sleepwear, the scrubs, the pants, the skirts, the tops, long sleeve, shorts, or tanks. Because I don't have the stamina in a thrift store like many of you do to be there for hours and hours. I don't usually have the time to do it. I don't have that chunk of time. I'm usually in there for an hour or two, and then I'm just ugh. I just feel like there's so many better things that I can do with my time. There's just so much more that I can do with my time for my business than go through racks at my thrift store. And that's why I'm mostly an online sourcer. That's why I order from the places I order from, because I just get more value that way. But like I said, I wanted to do this video for you guys because I do get a lot of comments and questions related to like, people aren't as good with time management. People aren't as good with coming up with logistical strategies. And so they ask for my help of like, how do I get through a thrift store that's going to make me the most money? I don't have a lot of time. Where can I go? What is the best way? And so that's why I wanted to do this video. So real quick rundown again: handbags and shoes, dresses, sweaters, jackets, jeans, swim, athletic wear, bras and intimates, sleepwear, scrubs, pants, skirts, long sleeve tops, short sleeve tops, shorts, tanks, hard goods, and other areas. That's my high ASP thrift store strategy. I hope that this is helpful for you. Make it your own, and I appreciate you. Thank you again to Vendue for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to use the link below to get started with 5 free listings per month to try it out and get 30% off your first paid month of Vendue.